Hi, Sarah Leather here from Flourish with Sarah, and you're really welcome today to my very first The Business of You web show, the place where I help women to have simply beautiful and highly profitable VIP businesses doing what they love. And today I'm really excited to have my very first guest is Lyndsey Whiteside from LyndseyWhiteside.com, and she is the star maker. You've got your star there, Lyndsey.
Oh, yes.
Your star. She's got a star. Brilliant. Lyndsey's a PR queen and a personal coach for wildly wonderful women in business. And as I said, she'll be found at LyndseyWhiteside.com. So, Lyndsey, you're very, very welcome today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is great. And can you start off by telling us what has got you to the place where you are today in your business? I know you've got a successful business and you're helping women at such a high level. Can you tell us how you got here?
Yeah. Well, I've run this business for 6 years, and I've been in PR for must be nearly 20 years. I can't remember. It's quite a long time. And you know, PR was my core area of expertise. My work has been with huge companies, international companies, and personal profiles and personalities, putting businesses, brands, and people on the stage so that they can sort of present themselves in the best way possible. So I help put them in front of their audiences. So I've done that my whole career. When I set up my own business, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to work with people that I really, really wanted to work with, that really excited me, and something that came very naturally to me, aligning to sort of my personal values and what I want to do in the world. And for me, I was sort of, in my spare time, I was sat at home reading Red magazine and Psychologies magazine and the spiritual magazines and the broadsheet supplements at the weekend. You know, that's my favourite hobby, alongside reading. My bookshelf is shamelessly self-help books, that has been for the last 20 years. And, that was my personal thing, the thing that I love to do. I also looked at the thing that sort of got me angry as well, or passionate. I hardly ever get angry, so we'll say passionate. And that was, women in business that were overlooked in some way because they didn't believe in themselves, or they didn't push themselves forward because they thought somebody else might be better than they were, or they were always comparing themselves. And women who wanted to do, like other women who wanted to make a difference. So I saw my job as like a ripple effect, really. I would push them on the stage, whether that be in a magazine or a physical stage, and then they could go out and do good work in the world, according to what they did. So, that to me, that combined everything that I wanted. I wanted to help women build better businesses, and be seen and be proud of who they are and happy with who they are. So that's where the PR side came in. The coaching was sort of a natural add-on to that, because what I found was that every woman with the business brain knew that they needed PR to get themselves out there. Some did, some would do it themselves, or they'd get someone to do it for them. But, something would always happen to, they sort of self-sabotage it. They'd stop their own campaign, or they'd somehow be afraid of putting themselves out there. And, we all have it. We all want to be, we don't want to be judged, and we do want to be judged. We want to be judged as, fantastic looking and hugely intelligent and,
really,
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
a credible businesswoman, which all the people that I've ever worked with have been, but they've not believed in themselves enough. So the coaching sort of came hand in hand with the PR, really. It's, what I now go out and say predominantly is that we're all unique. Every single one of us is unique. And I think, maybe in the UK more than anywhere else, as children at school and in the playground, we're taught or we learn not to stand out. We want to be part of the group, we want to be accepted, and it happens in business as well. We don't necessarily we want to be we want to be sort of, I guess, like good girls, or we want to be we want to be liked, and so we don't stand out. We don't put ourselves up as those tall poppy.
We don't want to be disconnected from our tribe. Excuse me, I've got to stop that beeping noise. One second. Luckily, I worked on myself, so a little beeping noise in the background doesn't shoot my blood pressure up. And as you were talking there, Lyndsey, what I was thinking of was when I was doing my TEDx talk last year, was that if it hadn't been for coaching, I don't think I would have A, put myself through it, or B, been able to actually get across the finish line. And actually stand up there on the stage and decide that I was going to just be imperfect as who I was. And but without coaching work over the years, I'm not sure I would have been able to do that. So yeah, they go hand in hand, don't they?
I think they definitely go hand in hand. And I think one of the things that happens as well is a lot of women I work with come out of corporate, so there's sort of top roles in corporate, and they've hidden behind their business brand, and they're connected to that business brand, and often they'll be in shoulder pads. I know I was, they'll go out and they'll have this armour on, and when we step out of that and we work for ourselves, which is sort of my main client base, we all of that drops away, all the armour drops away, and suddenly we're selling ourselves rather than the business we work behind. And I don't think anyone realises what a huge difference that is. It's, you buy from me, it means that you like me, and that's, it's so entangled with that.
And you can feel very exposed.
Very exposed, yeah, very, very vulnerable, and you don't want to put yourself out there because you're worried about, what your old colleagues might think of you, what your old boyfriend might think of you. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, basically, and it's easily achieved. That's being ourselves. It should be the most simple thing in the world, but it's good.
But how do we struggle with it?
Yes, we do, don't we? We do, and it's such a life lesson. And I think sort of being an entrepreneur is a massive life lesson as well. I certainly over the last 6 years learned more about myself than I ever did in business, and I thought I thought I'd done business and got to the top, but actually I was only, all of that
Just
sort of doesn't matter anymore. It's almost starting again, and it's been a wonderful experience, but it's certainly highs and lows. And I think being a woman in business is imbued with so many intricacies that aren't necessarily tied to men in business. I'm not saying men in business don't have feelings or doubts, but I think there's a special kind of thing that women go through that perhaps men don't, and that's that's my passion. That's certainly.
And are your clients mostly women?
I hire mostly women.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, I do. So my web designer's a woman. My coach is a woman.
And your clients?
And all my clients are women. Yeah. Haven't got anything against men at all. It's just
but men and women do business really differently. Women have a bucket load of emotion with it. Yeah, it's very different. I know years ago, when I was a nurse, that having male and female patients were totally different to look after. We don't like to stereotype, but you can't help it because there are startlingly huge differences.
No, that's right, and and that's that. I mean, that is certainly the work I do is finding out how drilling down to what we're called for in this world, and the things that we are. It's no big mystery. The things that we are naturally attracted to do, things that we naturally worry about, or the things that we're naturally excited about. They're the things we're called for, because not everyone is excited as me about magazines and or every time I read a paper, there are so many terrible things in the world, but the thing that gets me is anything to do with women or young girls, you know, confidence issues. And I know that that's my calling. That's what I'm here to do. And certainly that's what I help other people do, that I help them to find their calling. And I help them to feel totally unique, so they don't get that comparisonitis where we, you know, we're trawling through Facebook and everyone looks amazing and everyone's having this wonderful life and we think, oh, I can't do it, you know, they're so much better than me, because we're totally different to everyone else. And the people that are drawn to work with us are you know, people who respond to the real us. So you have to be the real you to attract the right clients, because otherwise you don't.
And you found your star qualities. They're your star qualities, so then you can go on and help other people too.
Yes, exactly.
The extra step that you can then show them really how to become visible and be seen and actually have a much more successful business by showing them how to get into the print media or online media. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's part of what I do is I help. I actually physically do the PR, the public relations. I get people in the media for some clients. Other clients, I show them how to do it themselves, so that they can keep on doing that, and they know how to, you know, spot an angle and spot a story, and to keep themselves in the media and in the right way as well, not having to respond to every single magazine that says we want to feature you. You know, reaching out, align themselves to the right brands, and that comes from absolutely knowing who they are and who they want to talk to. And it's like a decision. Once you make that decision about who you are and you're really happy with that, then these opportunities sort of come in serendipitously. It's total, as far as I'm concerned, it's total magic. You know, it is business strategy, but there's total magic about it.
Yes, yeah. I know. I experienced myself a few years ago in my previous niche, before I was a business coach, when I was working in fertility, and the power of getting something into the media from a press release from a publicist, and then the next day being on national television, and the difference to the business and I'd already studied coaching at the time, so I could manage it. But it's a huge thing. It's a very powerful machine to have behind you in your business. But if you're not getting the other side of the coin as well, the support with the coaching, it can be a challenging thing to really put yourself out there.
Yeah, and I think the sort of magic of PR is sort of twofold, really. You get your message out to people that you don't know, that aren't in your network, that you haven't physically networked with or have met on social media, because I find sort of social media is prolific and brilliant, but sometimes you can get sort of stuck in the same groups, and PR gets you out to a whole new audience that need your help. So
that needs your help. That's the key to it, isn't it? Yeah.
So that is the practical aspect of PR. The other aspect is that you think, look at me, I'm in psychology, or look at me, I'm on the sofa in this morning, I am important. And the moment you think I am important, you feel valued, and then other people think, you know, your dream clients think you are important, I value you, and that will impact on the way they see you, but also the prices that you can command as well. So it's a double effect. I love it.
Yes. And do you see, like, it's an investment to have the PR work done for you, and the return on investment, I imagine, it is huge.
Oh, yes. I mean, when you talk, PR is traditionally measured by advertising equivalent. So if you think like a page in a magazine might be, you know, sort of 16,000 or 50,000, depending on what that page is, PR is seen as at least sort of 3 times as credible as advertising. So you might see a supermodel advertising a lipstick and think, yeah, I'll just turn that over. But you might read a review of how that lipstick doesn't smudge and stays on all day, and you think, yes, and that is PR. I will do that. But you also that's the traditional way of measuring it. You also have, you know, somebody reading it. You know, there might be it stays in that magazine. That magazine might be in a doctor's surgery, and somebody reads it and then thinks that's what I need right now, you know, or, you know, a hairdresser's or whatever, or it might be somebody's favourite magazine, and it will be, if it's your favourite magazine, it will be your dream client's favourite magazine. And, you know, all the coaching I do is around your messaging as well, so that you know what to say to those people once you're interviewed, so you don't go off on a tangent, or you don't look at you don't sort of bow down to like a journalist's agenda. You get out, you say what you want to say and what's important to you.
It's a really powerful combination, the coaching and the PR work. No, I love
Yeah.
that. And Lyndsey, you've done some, my favourite topic, VIP days and VIP programs. So can you tell us about your experience using those in your practice?
I love them. So I call them star days, because that's what I do. That my aim is to not only make my clients stars in their industries, so not only experts, but somebody who thinks, who has a fan base, and that fan base wants to work with that person because they see that person, but also to feel like a star. It'll mean something different to everybody, but when you feel like a star, you feel fabulous, and you feel you feel on top of the world, and all of those things. So that's what the star days are about, but they're also very practical as well. So we go through, I look at their entire life. So I think that everything we've done to date has been a signpost or a stepping stone to where we are today. So all the good stuff and all the bad stuff and all the stuff that we loved when we were little and all the stuff that we went through is all taken through our sort of personal filter, as it were. And that's certainly why I work with women in business now. And it's taking our personal filter, and then we sort of give that out to our clients. So everyone is totally different, and I help those people get to the stage where they're doing something they really, really love doing. So every day is genuinely good fun, and they're thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this, and people are paying me money to do it.
And that's something that women have resistance to, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Being paid well for doing something they love. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, because I think that we think it has to be. We have sort of conditioning. I certainly had conditioning when I was sort of growing up. You have to work hard to get results. You have to, you have to sort of build your business up. It might take a certain number of years. You have to act in a certain way. You have to be professional. But I just think professional means something else. Professional to me means really caring about my clients, really caring about their businesses, and doing my absolute best to get them the best results. I genuinely care about them making money and being seen in the best way. And my clients end up being sort of my best friends as well. It's just not true. And I really admire like the young women coming up as well now, because there's a real sense of, I don't have to work for 20 years before I start my own business. I can do it now. There's that massive self-belief, and I think that's such a good thing, and it's such an exciting time for women in business as well. So I guess the message of my business and of feminism as well is you can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to buy into a belief system that isn't your belief system. You can have a business that you love and a lifestyle that you love, and make money doing it. And it's important that you do. It's important that you go out and do the work that you're supposed to be doing, because if you're stuck in a role that is a respectable sort of, I don't know, like a respectable accounting type role, because you're good at maths and everyone thinks it's a really good role, but really what you should be doing is being this amazing sort of health coach or something, then you're not helping anyone, you're not helping yourself, and you're just miserable. We want people to be happy and successful and financially fruitful. That helps everyone.
Yeah, totally agree. And how do you see a VIP day as being this really nice container for your work? How do you see that?
So for me, it's an entire day where I can work one-to-one with a woman. So it is a glamorous, fantastically fun day. But beneath all of that, we're in a room together, a private room, and we can both be totally, totally honest. I'm qualified in hypnomeditation, so I take people to a really relaxed state at the start of the day, and people can be, often people sort of don't want to put anyone off, but people cry when we're together, because it's a time to be really, really honest and not have that sort of armor on them. And also I work very intuitively, so it helps when I'm with that person. So I'll try not to sound sort of crazy, but I can, I feel what they feel, so I can see, and I can see what's I can see what their potential is, and they know deep down, they know the things that are calling them, and they're sort of stuffing down because they think, oh no, I can't do that, or I'm not good enough for that. They know what they really want to do. So just being one-to-one, in a room together, we can be brave together and say, yeah, this is really what I'm here to do.
And it sounds like sorry to interrupt you there, but it sounds like the tears are almost like a release. It's like a release of actually being heard and
I think
supported at such a high.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think it's being heard and also being seen. And, I talked about that sort of like women being overlooked, being like, I try not to sound cheesy, but when you're really seen as a woman, I think it's really powerful, and it's quite emotional as well. If I say to you, I can see how powerful you are, and I can see what your talents are that perhaps you haven't been able to see because you're so close to it, or you've been brought up a certain way, or you just don't think that's right for you. I can see that in you, and they recognize it too, and that's where we sort of well up a bit, because I think, yes, that's me. You've seen me. So, and also it's a very practical day as well. We put together sort of programs, and we talk about the PR approach and how they're going to physically get out there in the world. So it's a real mix of magic and business sense as well. But I just absolutely, they're my most favourite things to do, because I just think they're so just having that day, one day out of all the days in the year, just to focus on you and your business, and just see things that perhaps you haven't seen before.
And what kind of things do they say at the end of the day, your clients? Or what kind of feedback do you get about how they feel after their day?
Oh, well, everyone always says, oh, I can't believe how much we did, and I can't believe how much fun it's been, and I can't believe that you sort of pulled that out of me. And it's people that I've had VIP days with, or star days with, they've gone on and they've done the things that we've agreed to. So it's a really a really powerful thing. And some people take that sort of star package where I do sort of coaching following that, so that they can't suddenly chicken out. I support them.
They have the accountability.
Yeah, that was a much better way of putting it. And I'll go on to do their PR for them, so they basically feel like a star, or but they're the star that they already are. That everyone has a star quality already. It's just seeing it and being brave to wear it, being brave enough to sort of shine and sparkle. That's what my job is, to help people shine and sparkle.
And you are such a shiny, sparkly person as well. I think your personality comes through, and your VIP days sound just incredible. Yeah.
Well, I love doing them, and I think when women do the work they love, then that's when you can see that they go on a massive rant, like I probably have done today, about how much they do love it, and how much difference they make. And it's like I said, it's important to do work that comes naturally to you, because that is just our calling. And we've got that's I believe we have these missions in our life, and our work is part of that mission. I fulfill my mission by doing the work that I do, basically, and also I have huge amounts of fun, and everyone I work with is just brilliant.
Yeah. And do you think it's okay to have fun with your work?
I think it's essential. I think that when you're not, it shows through. When you're really fed up of working, you know, with a client or a type of client, or, you know, on a, you know, in a certain way, it's, you know, it shows, doesn't it? You can tell the people who are just really enjoying themselves, and when you're having fun, you put that, it's not that you're, you know, mucking about or anything, you're just putting that passion into your work. And you know, if I look at the PR side, you know, I vehemently believe in what my clients do. You know, that my clients are mostly sort of coaches and authors in the self-help world, and I just really, really believe in them. And if I wasn't enjoying myself, if I wasn't passionate about what I do, then I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell them in, because, you know, I've just got to, you know, you can't go half-hearted. You have to, you know, you have to go the whole way, especially when you work for yourself. I just think, you know, I think this is your time. You don't have to do stuff that you don't like because you're working for yourself. You might have done that for 10 or 20 or 30 years and you might have enjoyed your role, but this is your time to really do stuff that lights you up.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I totally agree. And I was just thinking there about how I know a few people in your industry, and I don't know of anybody else doing the kind of work that you do. And I see so many women stuck by comparing themselves to other people in their industry.
Yeah.
And I wonder, can you say a little bit about that if you were just to do what the industry standard was of work that a PR person could do,
yeah,
would you be doing the work that you do? You know, do you have to give yourself massive permission to work in a different way?
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. It makes business sense for me to be unique in my industry, because people, you know, I totally accept that not everyone will like working with me, and, you know, but I totally accept that the people that I would love to work with love working with me. So, you know, I have done very, very traditional PR. I've worked on the biggest accounts that you can, you know, you can think of, and I've worked in a very strategic way. And it's not to say that I don't now, but I've just seen that the coaching combined with the PR, and again, really seeing that woman, is just the way that I want to work, and the way that makes most business sense for that, you know, woman. That's the way that they're going to be seen in the best places, be recognised in the best places, and also attract the best clients to them. If I can sort of polish them down, you know, polish them down so that they're sort of their shiny self in the middle, then they are going to attract the best clients. And that sort of rubs off on me. You know, if my clients are attracting the best clients, that looks good for me. So I'm just doing what I want to do. And I certainly don't have, you know, any fear of competition at all now, because I just, you know, I don't think for good or bad, you know, I'm comparable to anyone else. What, you know,
I would say that's very true. I mean, nobody is us. There's only one of us anywhere, but so many women get paralyzed by the comparisonitis. You know, I call it the biggest disease in with female entrepreneurs is comparisonitis. They just stop. They stop.
Yeah.
It's fabulous that you are, and there's so much of you in your business. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
That your personality comes through it.
Yes, absolutely, and that, you know, and that's what I want for everyone, and that's everyone. You know, you're exactly. That's why I just think you're brilliant, Sarah, because that's exactly what you're like as well. And I think that you have to see through the, you know, bullshit. Sorry, on social media. You know, you can see who is authentic, or who is you know, what's real and what's not real. And, you know, everyone has their good days and their bad days, and you just, you know, I think sometimes, even though social media is brilliant, you have to get off it, you know, occasionally, because it's really tough, you know, when you do compare yourself, and when you are in a situation where you're comparing yourself, you think, no, you're not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You need to tweak your business, because you need to be totally unique, totally doing the work that is based on who you are.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now that's a great tip. I was just about to ask you, just before we wrap up, about what would be your top tip, or maybe top couple of tips if you have them, for women, female entrepreneurs that are trying to be seen a bit more, trying to get their voice out there? Are there any little tips that you could give them now to help to move them forward?
Yeah, well, I think that from a PR point of view, it's knowing, it's being aligned to who your customers are. So often your customers are people who are exactly like you, but are looking to you to sort of guide them. And when that's the case, you can just look at, how you're influenced. So, I read certain types of magazines and newspapers, and I'm like certain social media, and my customers like exactly the same as I do. So, but if that's not the case, just be aware of how your audience are influenced. They might go to certain events, or they might read certain media, or they might watch certain media. Just be aware of how they're influenced. And my favorite first top tip when I'm coaching PR is just get yourself down to a newsagent and get all of the magazines that you love, and just flick through them, just spend time reading them with a cup of tea, and see what slots there are available that might suit you, and a place where you can tell your story efficiently. And yeah, the other thing is just to be conscious of what your 3 key messages are. That's another thing I sort of coach on. People will take. There are so many coaches and authors, and loads of different business women in the world. People will only take sort of 3 key things from something that you've said or an interview that you've given. So make sure that you know what you want to say. Make sure you know the 3 key things that are useful to those people, but also that you want them to take out from everything that you do. Otherwise, your efforts are wasted. So be very sure of what your brand is, and everything you do, make sure that it's just very you, and just be yourself. That is my main message. Be yourself and shine, because people will love who you are, and the people who don't love who you are aren't interesting to you because they won't buy from you. So yeah, be yourself and shine.
Thanks so much. That's really, really valuable. Thank you. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way someone can find you?
Well, I am. My website is www.lyndseywhiteside.com. I am on Facebook just under Lyndsey Whiteside. I've got a page, and come and find me there. And I'm also on Twitter. So yeah, I'll send me an email, Lyndsey@inspiredpr.co.uk.
Inspiredpr.co.uk. I'll pop it under this recording anyway. I'll pop it in there.
And I'm really happy to chat to anyone on Skype, just to see if working with me sounds good to them, and it will be.
Thank you so much, Lyndsey. I'm so pleased you were my first guest here, and yeah, thank you so much.
Brilliant. Okay. No, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this very first show, and I'll be back next week with another very special guest. Thank you, Lyndsey. We need one more wave for the star, please. Oh, one more wave for the star now. Lyndsey's a star maker. Thanks so much, Lyndsey Whiteside. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.